All right, guys. Welcome back to lesson two of week one. We're still talking about the introduction to AI and the LLM revolution. The objective is to understand what AI is, how LLMs work, and why they matter in today's world. So for lesson two, we're talking about the rise of large language models. In this lesson, let's talk about the AI that is making headlines everywhere, which is the LLMs. Now, so what are these LLMs? That's the question we're going to ask ourselves. What are LLMs? All right, so LLMs are basically AI systems trained on massive amounts of data, like books, websites, articles, and this data are accumulated data from years back, right? So they're trained on large amounts of this data so that they can understand and generate human-like language. Some of these LLMs are what we have like ChatGPT, Claude AI, Gemini, and so on and so forth. So next thing we ask ourselves is, all right, we know what LLMs are. We know they are trained on large amounts of data, but how do they really work, right? How do these language models really work? All right, so imagine you've read a lot of books, you've read a lot of sentences, a lot of text, and you get to the point where you can already predict the next word that is going to, come after the other, or you get to the point where you can already predict how the tone of a particular sentence is and what the author or what the writer is trying to imply. So because of your knowledge on existing works, existing novels, existing literature, you have this attribute to predict, right? So that's how LLMs work. Now, over time, they develop a sense of words that come after the other, but this is not just specific to just text based, it's specific to everything LLMs can work on. So they predict the next word in sequence, but on a superhuman scale. It's not something that happens in seconds or in minutes. This happens on a computer level of microseconds, right? So they can read previous text and they can predict the next one. So that's how LLMs work under the hood. And this is possible and thanks to the billion of parameters that they get to work with, billions of data they get to work with, billions of information they get to work with, and this helps them get better day by day, day by day. So every time you check the AI news, you hear that a model is out, a new version of model is out. This is because as time, as years progress, they get access to more data. As people make use of it, they get access to more data to get better. All right. So what are the abilities of these large language models? So they can generate text like content, like essays, stories, and every other essay or text like task that we do with LLMs. They can translate in between languages. So these language models, they don't just work with English language, all right? They work with different languages and they can help you translate from one language to another language. They can summarize long documents. You can have like a whole long attribute article. You can have a textbook, you can have long documents, and they can read through these documents and summarize it for you. In the tech world, they also write codes. They help you debug issues. They help you build programs and all that. So there are lots of capabilities or possible things you can do with these large language models. Now, another thing I'll tell you is the secret behind their power is a design we call the transformer architecture. Yeah, don't worry, you don't need to know all the maths behind all that, but just think of it like this. Transformers are very good at paying attention to context, right? So these transformers are the little things in these large language models that help them to pay attention to context and for them to be able to predict what one word, which word comes after the other. All right. So these are the underlying design and the power of these large language models that make things possible, right? So that's why when you're interacting with large language models or LLMs, it feels so natural. It feels like you're interacting with a fellow human being. It feels like you're having a conversation with a fellow human being. That's because of their reach in prediction. They are rich in dealing and working with data. They are trained on human data, and they think and reason like humans. So in our next class, we're going to make things more practical. We'll set up our AI toolkits, and you can start experimenting between different large language models, and you can probably highlight the differences between one or the difference between one and another.